Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.
Hi guys, it is Jane. Today I am recording our reading class for 1A, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2:30 in room 503. So today we will need our copy of A Picture for Harold's Room. Now today is our review lesson, so I will go ahead and read the whole book one more time, and then we will work on the closing summary activity together, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, A Picture for Harold's Room. I want a picture to put on my wall, Harold said. He drew a house with his purple crayon. More houses made a little town. It was far away. The town had woods and hills around it, and it was at the end of a long road. It will look pretty in the moonlight, said Harold, and he stepped up into the picture to draw the moon. He looked down at the houses. I am a giant, he said, but a giant would scare all the people in town. It was good no one woke up and saw me, said Harold. He walked over the hills. How big I am, he said. Harold's head was above the clouds. With a few steps, he came to the end of the land. At the end of any land, there is water. It is the sea, said Harold. There are seagulls. Harold was big enough to walk through the sea. A great big ship went by. It was an ocean liner. A big whale came up and in the waves, spouting water. And just ahead of Harold was an old sailing ship. He easily caught up with it and passed it. The sea ended against a steep hill. Harold needed some rocks to step on. He climbed out of the sea and onto the hill. Then he saw that the ship was too near the rocks. He put up a lighthouse to show the sailors. And he went on his way over high mountains. Harold was taller than the highest mountain. I am higher than anything, he said. Then suddenly he thought of airplanes. Harold ducked his head just in time. It was a big jet plane flying very fast. There might have been a bad accident. Harold found a low place in the mountains. It was a good place for a railroad to go through. It came out onto a long, flat field. Harold put some birds and flowers near the tracks. People like to see things from trains, he said. He went on drawing tracks and birds and flowers, and he had to keep looking out for trains. It was a big job for a small boy, and all of a sudden, he saw how small he had become. He was half the size of a daisy. He was smaller than a bird. How would he get home? He could not wade home through the ocean. He could not climb those high mountains. And just then, he fell into a mouse hole. "Excuse me," he said to the mouse. Then Harold sat down on a pebble to think. After a minute or two, he stood up again. "This is only a picture," he said, and he took his crayon and he crossed it out. "I am not big or little. I am my usual size." But how could he be sure about that? At home, he was always his usual size, so he drew the door of his room. There was a long mirror on the back of the door. "Yes," said Harold, "I am my usual size." He was glad to be in his room. He was tired, but he had no picture to hang on his wall. So before he went to bed, he drew another picture. All right, that's a great book. It's a little long, but overall a great read. Now, we need to get out our purple reading workbooks. At the bottom, you will see the little red hen, crocodile and hen, a picture for Harold's room, and I Mean It Stanley. Okay, we are opening to our closing activity on section 6 on page 58. So, section 6 on page 58. All right. So, for this, we will be reading this paragraph, and along the way, we will fill in the blank spaces, okay? So, Harold needed a blank on his wall. Well, what is the name of the book? The book is called A Picture for Harold's Room. So, Harold needed a picture on his wall. So he took out do you remember what he used to draw? Right, a purple crayon. So he took out a crayon and started to draw. First, he drew a line. Then he drew a little, do you remember what was the first thing after the line? That's right, a little house. So 3, a little house. So house. All right, some woods and do you remember what he drew in the sky to give light to the town? That's right, he drew a moon. So, and a moon. Wonderful. All right. He drew blank, mountains, cloud. All right, so what did he draw? Do you remember? What is the body of water called that he drew? That's right, the sea. He drew the sea, mountains, and clouds. So sea, mountains, and clouds. And what else did he draw? What was he trying not to get hit by in the sky? Do you remember? That's right, a jet plane. So a jet plane. So you can put airplanes, because they are the same thing, and the airplanes. don't get wet. Do you know what that is called? That's right, a ship. So then he drew a ship. Okay? On the sea. And a whale too. He drew a cliff and a link on the cliff. What did he put on the cliff to show the sailors that there were rocks there? Do you remember? It gives off light. Yes, a lighthouse. So lighthouse. Lighthouse. Good job. All right. There were more mountains and clouds next. Then he drew blank tracks. What do trains drive on? They don't drive on the road. They drive on a railroad. Yes, railroad tracks, right? Railroad tracks. Good job, guys. Railroad tracks. All right. All of a sudden, Harold was lost and very small. So he drew his... Where did Harold come from originally? He came from his room. And where is his room? Yes, in his house. So he drew his house. Right? He drew his house and went back to his room. Okay? Then, what was on his door? Do you remember what was on his door? That's right, a mirror. Why did he look in the mirror? Do you guys remember? He looked in the mirror to make sure he was back to his usual size, right? So, on the back of his door, he saw that he was his usual size again. Good job, guys. All right. Now, this is all we have time for today. So I will have another lesson for you next time on how to fill out a book report for a picture for Harold's room. All right? Okay, guys. I hope to see you next time.
Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.